Alright, episode 10 guys. Sorry I haven't got my drill gauge in front of me here. It's still set up over in the pedestal drill, but I thought I'd start in the same spot. Now just quickly, we've got our types of drill bits we've been using again. So the Viper series on these Sutton drill bits are the shiny ones, and the Inox ones are much harder and they have that dark bluey black coating on them. So those are the ones we'll use. Don't use these ones for soft metals, aluminium and brass, because they'll clog the little pores up and therefore it makes the diameter bigger and then it wears the drill bit out really quickly. Instead, for brass and aluminium, use one of these. That's about it. I think we used the 3mm one of these to do all our initial pilot holes. Alright, now I'm up to the last hole guys. I've gone a little bit in front of you so we didn't have to watch me drilling holes again and again and again. It's almost as boring as sanding. So we're up to the very last one here, 13mm. I've got that all set up. Let's go have a look at that and we'll drill our last hole and we'll do some deburring and maybe start cutting. Let's go. Alright guys, so there's the last one here. The 13's not done up. The 13's in there, just finger tight. Let's tighten that up with our chuck key again. Just remember, make sure the side with the leverage over here is the one that's facing up so that when you push up on it, you mesh the teeth more. If you don't, you'll start jumping these teeth and slipping off and then it rounds the teeth off. So they're looking pretty good, that one still. So tighten that up. I've got my clamp on here because I'm drilling a number 13 drill bit, and anything bigger than a number 8, which is that hole there, anything bigger than that needs to be clamped down, because at this point the drill bit's strong enough that it won't snap. It'll make the whole vise spin and therefore be a hazard for you. So go back. Clearly got this clamp tightened up well there, and that looks like it's in the right spot there for our hole. Let's go. Nice. Drilled. Now let's take that out and have a look at the other side and our problems. Alright, so on the other side, you guys can see now that there's burrs all over the place. Burrs, 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 burrs. None of them are good. We need to get rid of them. Now we've got a couple of options. First option is our countersinking drill bits. So these drill bits make a countersink, but they can also deburr at the same time. Now I didn't grab it, but I'll just race down and grab one so I can show you our other option. Alright, so our second option is a lot more work. Now it's a rotary hand deburrer. Rotary because it spins, hand deburrer because you hold in your hand, and deburrer because it takes the burrs off. Now, I'll show you what you shouldn't be doing. Put it in there and you spin it around. And you spin around, 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 and that wears those burrs off. It's got like a sharp edge here. So if I'm deburring here and putting a bit of pressure on there and slip and run that past my wrist, you can see the downside of that. So don't deburr in your hands like this. If you're going to deburr, make sure it's over in a vise. We won't worry about setting it up in a vise now because I'm not going to use it. But you guys get the picture? You're just spinning round and round and round and round and round and round and round until the burrs get cut away by that sharp edge. These are high-speed steel, made out of the same material as a drill bit. All right, now rather than using that, because that's a lot of work, I'm going to cheat and I'm going to set this up with a countersinker in it. Get rid of that, we don't need our clamp. Get rid of our vise, we don't need that either. Take our big 13mm drill bit out. And I'm going to set up one of these. Now you can see we have different options here. We have this huge one, which isn't very sharp, but have a look at the edges, you'll see whether they're sharp or not. This one here, a 3-fluted countersinker, and we have another option here, which is only a 1 single fluted countersinker. Flutes, only single flute, as opposed to 1, 2, 3. This one great for really, really small holes, so maybe for that 2.5, we could do that. But for all the other holes, anything 3 and above, that one will work really well. So let's chuck that into our drill. And all you have to do is hold on to your drill gauge and just touch the countersinker onto whichever one you want to deburr. No burr there. You guys can probably see that burr there. I can feel it's quite sharp on my finger there. I'll deburr that one next and we'll assess it. There you go. A couple of seconds pushing up. Burr all gone. Alright, with that, no burrs left on any of those except for these two at the end here. I can probably do the 3 just. I'm going to stop and I'm going to change to our small single fluted countersinker to do the very last one. Right. Countersinker. Alright, so this one will definitely fit into those two quite easily. 1, 2, all done. Sometimes you'll get some burrs on the front, but those all feel pretty good. Normally it's only if you've got a blunt drill bit or something like that you'll get bad burrs on the front, but they're good. Let's wander over and start doing some cuts. All right. Alright, so we've got everything marked for all our cuts. We need 3 cuts, 1, 2 and 3. We'll set that up with some soft jaws in the vise. Just remember at this point guys, make sure those soft jaws that you grab don't have too many marks on them because you don't want to leave impressions on your job. All right, now I wouldn't do the long one first. I'd be starting off with the two shorter ones. And there's one just there, and there's one there. This one you'll have to start at an angle, so that's a little bit more skill there, so let's do that one there first. You'll see I've dropped it a long way through the vise, I haven't got it sticking out, so I've got minimal vibration. Let's have a look at our hacksaws. Alright, with these hacksaws, what you want to look for to make sure they're alright is missing teeth. So you're just looking along this edge here, and there's a missing tooth there, there and there. This is missing 3. Let's change that, and I'll grab a new blade and we'll put a new blade in. So to take the blades out, there's an adjuster down the bottom here, loosen that off. And you can take the blade off. Take that blade out, I'll get a new one. Alright, on our brand new blade again, we've got another Sutton tool made in Australia. It's made of high-speed steel, and these are all gauged or in imperial. So it says 32 teeth. Well, it means 32 teeth every inch, and an inch is 25 millimeters. It's just an imperial thing that hasn't changed over. So 32 teeth in that inch, so that's about an inch between my thumbnails there. If I counted each of those little teeth, there'd be 32. What else have we got? It's 300mm long, standard hacksaw length. Now, when we put it on, we have to make sure that the teeth are facing forwards. So, and actually this one has arrows for forwards. But just in case it didn't, you'd have a look at the arrows too. Have a look at the teeth. I've just got a bit of paint in the hole there. There we go. And the teeth are facing that way. Facing forwards that way. So we have all the teeth facing forwards. It's only there for cutting when we go forwards, just like a file. The upside of these is that they're only worth about $2 or $3 a blade, whereas a file is going to be in excess of $20 a blade. So with these, I'm going to increase the tension a little bit, so I'm just checking to see. It's got a little bit of spring, that's probably enough. I'm going to go a little bit tighter, one more turn. Like tuning a guitar string. It's got to have that nice ting to it. Files we can't drag backwards. The hacksaw blade you can drag backwards, but just don't put pressure down when you're dragging it back. So we've got our little line way over here at our 60mm mark. I want to keep about a millimetre away from that mark so that I can then file it back to exactly 60. So don't cut exactly on the line. Give yourself at least a millimetre of clearance. Right, and I'm putting my thumb against it, so I've got a bit of a guide, and I'm dragging backwards. But I wasn't putting pressure down, I'm only just softly dragging it backwards. Soft drag backwards. Now I'm going to start going forwards. I've made a tiny little impression there. Now when I go forwards, again, at the very start, I'm putting virtually no pressure on it. Forwards, backwards. I'm just dragging it forwards and backwards. You'll also notice I have my finger pointed because it tightens up some of the ligaments in your wrist here, and you're likely to get a straighter cut. So make sure you're pointing. If you're really small and you haven't got enough, and you think you haven't got enough force, then by all means put 2 hands on it and go forwards and backwards with that extra force down, but most people are strong enough at year 10, 11, 12 age to just use one hand. You see, I'm not lifting it like a file, but I'm not putting pressure down. So pressure down, just dragging back. Pressure down and dragging back. Have a quick check, you don't want to take too much off. No, I'm clearly away from my 60mm line. I'm still not pressing very hard. Check it every now and again, guys. Nope, still looks nice. Alright, I'm going to stop there because when you have a look on my line here, you can see the 60mm mark is still there, and the 20mm measurement where I put my 121-degree angle, I've gone past now. So I can chop that little bit off, that'll peel out, and then we'll start doing this angle. Alright, now you may have a preference to which way you like doing it, guys, but I'll show you which way I like doing it. Now I want to get rid of this little piece here. Alright, so there's that little offcut there. Now I want to cut down that 121-degree angle, but I'm not going to start with the hacksaw following the right angle. To start with, I'm going to go perpendicular to the cut I just made, perpendicular at 90 degrees. So at 90 degrees, I know looks a bit crooked here. 1, 2, 3, and that's enough. Then stop, because I've left a little impression now. With my fingernail, I can feel that little impression. Grab my hacksaw again, and this time hold it parallel to that 121-degree angle. So I've changed my angle now. I'm going the right way for my cut. But I've given it a mil clearance too. I'm still a millimetre away from that line. Good, looks good. Maybe I'm a millimetre and a half. I'm giving myself a little bit extra. Extra is better than less, because if I make it too short, this is one of the ones that is accessible for a fail. So if this one is less than 59.8, fail. If it's 60.22, then you need to take a bit more off it, because we have a tolerance of 0.2 millimetres. So it can be 0.2 bigger or 0.2 smaller than the official size, which is 60. So just be aware. 60, the 40 and the 115 have to be within that tolerance. That's good. Still looks good. All right, you should be able to see that angle there. You can see the scribe line where my 121 degree angle is, and you can see a millimetre away from it. We've got our hacksaw cut. Now we can do our long one. We'll cut all the way down here. Now I'm not going to start with it at that height, guys, because the top's just going to vibrate like crazy. That vibration is not only bad for all your classmates' ears, but it also, that extra vibration is blunting those teeth really quickly. So we're going to minimise vibration, and to do that in this case, we're just going to drop it all the way down, and maybe just have like 25 mil hanging out. Clamp it up. Back over to our measurement. Can you see that from that angle? Can you see the cut line? Set that up right next to that line. Still a bit noisy there, guys. Just that little bit of vibration. It's just up 20 mil. Obviously it's going to be worse and worse the higher that gets. As it gets closer to the bottom here, you'll notice it won't be as noisy, less vibration. Oops, sorry. Look, yeah, I'm about a millimetre away from that cut line. Now again, remember, take your time with this and keep away from the line. If you go over that line and make that shorter than 40 mil, start again. You don't want that, take your time. If it looks like you're starting to cut into the line or across the line, stop immediately, cut that section out, and then start again a new line a little bit higher up. All right, let's continue. Oh, sorry, hacksaw. Sorry guys, we'll stop the video. We'll continue on later on. Thanks. See ya.